The notification lit up my phone at 3:47 a.m., a text from my sister, Nina. OMG, have you seen the headlines? I'm so sorry. Attached was a link to page 6. My name is Jordan, and until yesterday, I was engaged to one of Boston's most eligible bachelors. Now I'm staring at photos of myself splashed across gossip sites, labeled as the cheating fiancé who betrayed tech mogul Derek George. The stories were everywhere, each one more twisted than the last, filled with anonymous sources claiming I'd been unfaithful throughout our 2-year relationship. The proof? Doctored screenshots of conversations I'd never had, photos manipulated to suggest secret meetings that never happened. My phone buzzed again. Mother. Jordan, what have you done? Her voice cut through the darkness of my apartment. The charity gala is in 3 weeks. Do you have any idea how this looks? Mom, none of it's true. Someone's... Save it! I've already spoken to Nina. She showed me everything. The pause that followed felt like a knife twisting. The board has decided it's best if you don't attend the gala. The gala I organized? My voice cracked. Mom, I've spent the last 6 months. Nina will take over. She understands what's at stake here. Unlike you, she knows how to protect our family's reputation. The call ended before I could respond. I sat there, numb, as more notifications flooded in, friends asking for explanations, colleagues expressing concern, Derek's sister calling me a snake. You've really outdone yourself this time. Nina's voice drifted from my doorway. I hadn't even heard her come in. She still had the spare key I'd given her during happier times. Why are you here? I asked, not looking up. Because you're my sister. She perched on the edge of my couch, her designer dress perfectly pressed even at this hour. And I'm worried about you. These stories, they're awful. I finally met her eyes, the same eyes that had watched me build this gala from nothing, the same eyes that had witnessed every sacrifice I'd made for our family's foundation. Did you do this? I whispered. How could you ask me that? Her hurt expression was perfect, practiced. I'm trying to help you. Mother's furious, but I convinced her not to cut you off completely. You just need to lay low, let me handle the gala, and maybe in a few months. Get out! Jordan, don't be dramatic. Get out. She stood, smoothing her dress. You know, this attitude isn't helping. Derek told me everything about the texts, the meetings. If you'd just admit what you did. Derek told you. Something clicked. When exactly did he tell you this? Nina's perfect mask slipped for just a fraction of a second. He called me, of course, when he found out. Before or after the stories broke. She was already heading for the door. Get some sleep, Jordan. You're not thinking clearly. After she left, I sat in the darkness, scrolling through the wreckage of my life. Every article cited family sources. Every accusation felt carefully crafted to hit where it hurt most. My laptop pinged. A new email from an address I hadn't seen in months. grichardsonphoenixenterprises.com. Jordan, I've seen the headlines. More importantly, I've seen the truth. Your sister's digital footprints aren't as clean as she thinks. Neither are her recent meetings with Masonwood, or should I say, her secret boyfriend of 6 months. You've spent years being their scapegoat, sacrificing everything to maintain their image, but sometimes the kindest souls harbor the most elegant vengeance. I think it's time we told the truth. Meet me tomorrow. 9 a.m., the usual place. Gabriel. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. For the first time since the headlines broke, I felt something other than despair. They wanted to write my story? Fine. But I would be the one holding the pen. The coffee shop where I first met Gabriel was tucked away in a forgotten corner of the city. As I pushed open the heavy wooden door, the familiar scent of roasted beans and old books wrapped around me like a warm blanket. He sat at our usual table, his silver hair catching the morning light. 6 years ago, I'd spilled coffee on his $1,000 suit during my first week as an events intern. Instead of getting angry, he'd offered me a job. "You look terrible," he said, sliding a cup of black coffee toward me. "Thanks. You always know exactly what to say." I managed a weak smile. "How's your mother taking it?" "Oh, you know. She's already planning my exile to a remote island." I took a sip. "They're giving the gala to Nina." Gabriel's eyes narrowed. "The same Nina who's been secretly dating Mason Wood while helping spread rumors about you?" I nearly choked on my coffee. "How did you—" "I make it my business to know things." He pulled out his tablet. "Especially when someone I care about is being systematically destroyed by their own family." He showed me surveillance photos, Nina and Mason outside various hotels, time-stamped throughout my engagement, text messages, bank transfers. "They've been careful," Gabriel continued, "but not careful enough. Mason's been using your sister's credit card for hotel rooms since January, the same period when these rumors started circulating." "Why didn't you tell me sooner? Would you have believed me?" His voice was gentle. "Jordan, I've watched you defend them for years. Every time they took credit for your work, every time they used you as their safety net, you needed to see it for yourself." I stared into my coffee, remembering all the times Nina had accidentally let slip embarrassing stories about me at family functions. How Mother always seemed to believe her version of events. "What do you want me to do with this information?" I asked. "That depends." Gabriel leaned back. "Do you want justice, or do you want revenge?" "Is there a difference?" "Justice is truth in the light. Revenge is truth wielded like a weapon." He smiled. "I'm prepared to help you with either." "How?" "The Phoenix Initiative." He handed me a glossy brochure. "My new foundation. We support survivors of betrayal, defamation, and familial abuse, and we need a flagship event to launch our mission." I flipped through the pages, my heart racing. "You want to sponsor the gala?" "I want to take it over, completely. Your family's foundation will be one beneficiary among many, but you'll be running it, officially, publicly, with my full backing." "They'll never agree." "They already have." He showed me an email chain. "Your mother was quite excited when my office reached out. Apparently the current budget is struggling." For the first time in days, I felt a spark of hope. "And Nina will remain the face of the family foundation. For now." His smile turned sharp. "But every phoenix needs ashes to rise from." "You've been planning this." "Let's just say I believe in being prepared." He pulled out a contract. "The question is, are you ready to stop being their victim and start being their nightmare?" My hand shook as I reached for the pen. "They'll hate me for this." "They already hate you, Jordan. The difference is, after we're done, they'll respect you too." He paused. "There's one condition." "What?" "You have to tell me the truth, about everything. No more protecting them." I took a deep breath, thinking of all the secrets I'd kept, the times I'd covered for Nina's mistakes with foundation money, the donors Mother had manipulated, the lies I'd helped maintain. Where do I start? With this. He opened his laptop, revealing a new document. The title made my heart stop. The Phoenix Initiative, supporting survivors of betrayal. Ready to rise? Gabriel asked. I signed the contract. For the first time since my world exploded, I felt powerful. They thought they'd written the end of my story. But really, they'd just given me the perfect beginning. One more thing, Gabriel said as we stood to leave. Your sister has been making some interesting calls this morning. Seems she's nervous about something. Good, I replied, surprising myself with how cold my voice sounded. She should be. Gabriel's smile was proud and dangerous. Now that's the Phoenix I've been waiting to see. We walked out into the sunshine, leaving behind the old Jordan, the one who always forgave, always accepted blame, always stayed quiet. It was time to show them exactly how loud silence could be. You won't believe what I found! Annika burst into my office, waving her tablet. My friend and assistant had been working overtime, digging through social media archives and email chains. Show me! I cleared space on my desk as she laid out her findings. First, these. She pulled up a series of Instagram DMs. Nina's been using multiple fake accounts to spread those cheating rumors. But she got sloppy, used the same password for everything. Once I got in, I found these. Messages between Nina and Mason filled the screen. Planning meetings, discussing their perfect timing, laughing about how easily Derek would believe their lies. There's more, Annika continued. Remember Ella, Nina's old friend? The one she threw under the bus last year? She reached out, says she has recordings. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. I know what Nina did to you. I have proof. Meet me? 20 minutes later, I sat across from Ella at a quiet bar. Her hands trembled as she pulled out her phone. I kept everything, she said. Never thought I'd need it, but Nina, she has a habit of recording her victories. She pressed play. Nina's voice filled my ears. It's perfect timing. Jordan's too busy with the Gala to notice. We plant the fake DMs, tip off a few reporters. Derek's so insecure, he'll believe anything. Mason's laugh followed. And your mother? Please, she'll blame Jordan like she always does. It's what she's best at. I felt sick. When was this? 2 weeks before the stories broke. Ella's eyes were sympathetic. There's something else you should know about Derek. She pulled up another recording. This time, I heard my ex-fiancé's voice. I don't know, Nina. These messages, they don't seem like Jordan. Trust me. Would I lie about my own sister? Besides, what about the baby? My head snapped up. What baby? Ella grimaced. Nina told Derek she was pregnant, said she'd seen you with someone else, and the stress made her lose it. That's what finally convinced him to go public with the breakup. She faked a miscarriage? My voice was barely a whisper. She fakes a lot of things. Ella pulled out a USB drive. Everything's here. Screenshots, recordings, bank statements showing her payments to tabloids. I kept it all because, well, I knew someday someone would need to know the truth about Nina. I took the drive with shaking hands. Why are you helping me? Because last year, Nina destroyed my reputation, my business, and my marriage with her lies. Sound familiar? Ella stood to leave. Just make it count, okay? Back at the office, Annika helped me sort through the evidence. Each new discovery felt like another knife in my back. Look at this. Annika pointed to an email chain. Nina's been embezzling from the foundation. Small amounts, but over years. She's taken nearly $500,000. Mother must know. Oh, she does. Annika pulled up more documents. She's been covering it up, using donor money to balance the books. My phone lit up with a text from Gabriel. Ready for phase 2? I looked at the mountain of evidence before me. Proof of years of manipulation, lies, and theft. Everything I needed to destroy them completely. Not yet, I typed back. I need one more thing. As if on cue, my phone rang. Mason. Jordan. His voice was nervous. We need to talk. About what? My sister? The lies? Or the money she's been giving you? Silence. Then. How did you? I know everything, Mason. The question is, what are you going to do about it? He exhaled slowly. Nina's losing it. She knows something's coming. She's been shredding documents, deleting emails. Too late. Look, I'll tell you everything. The whole plan. It wasn't supposed to go this far. I smiled into the phone. Meet me tomorrow. Bring proof. After hanging up, I turned to Annika. Start the uploads, slowly, one piece at a time. She grinned. How long? 2 weeks, right up until the Gala. I picked up Ella's USB drive. Let's show them how it feels to watch their world unravel in slow motion. Jordan. Annika's voice was soft. Are you sure about this? Once we start. I thought about Nina's fake tears, Mother's constant blame, years of being the family scapegoat. They wanted a scandal, I said, plugging in the drive. Let's give them one they'll never forget. The first file began uploading. Soon the truth would bloom like poison flowers, and I would watch them choke on every petal. The guest list needs to be perfect, Gabriel said, spreading blueprints of the venue across his office table. Every person in that room needs to be carefully chosen. I scrolled through the names on my tablet. I've added the major social media influencers who've been sympathetic to similar stories, plus every journalist who's ever investigated family foundation scandals. Excellent. He pointed to the stage layout. We'll position the screens here, here, and here. Maximum visibility from every angle. Mother called this morning, I said, keeping my voice neutral. Apparently, they need my logistical expertise after all. Gabriel's eyes twinkled. Amazing how a few pointed questions about budget discrepancies from my legal team can change minds. The door opened, and Annika rushed in. You need to see this. She turned on the TV. Mother was giving a live interview about the upcoming gala. And my daughter Nina has such a charitable heart, she was saying, perfectly poised in her designer suit. The way she stepped up to handle this event, especially after the recent unfortunate situations with her sister. Turn it off, I said quietly. Gabriel handed me a flash drive. Perhaps it's time to show them what a charitable heart really looks like. Inside were documents detailing every donation Nina had redirected to her personal accounts, every falsified report, every covered-up scandal. The Phoenix Initiative's first press release goes out tomorrow, he continued. We're announcing our sponsorship and new direction. The theme, Truth Rises. I smiled. Subtle. I thought so. He pulled up the event schedule. You'll be introduced as our lead coordinator. Your family can't object without raising questions about why they're opposing their own event planner. My phone buzzed with a text from Nina. Mother wants you at the planning meeting tomorrow. Don't make this difficult. Perfect timing, I murmured, showing Gabriel the message. Remember, he said, smile agree, and say absolutely nothing about what's coming. The next morning, I walked into our family's foundation office for the first time since the scandal. Nina sat at the head of the conference table, my old seat. "Jordan." Mother's greeting was cold. "So glad you could make time for us." "Of course." I took a seat, noting how Nina's perfect makeup couldn't quite hide her exhaustion. "How can I help?" "We need the vendor contracts and security protocols," Nina said, not meeting my eyes. "And the donor database. Everything's been transferred to the Phoenix Initiatives team," I replied smoothly. "Mr. Richardson's orders." Mother's smile tightened. "Surely you can get us copies." "That would violate our new confidentiality agreements." I pulled out my tablet. "But I'm happy to coordinate with their team on your behalf." "Their team?" Nina's voice rose slightly. "This is our Gala. It's a partnership now," I reminded her gently. "Speaking of which, the first press release goes out in an hour. You might want to check your emails." On cue, their phones buzzed. I watched their faces as they read the announcement, noting how Mother's complexion paled at the mention of financial transparency and ethical oversight. "This is not what we discussed," Mother said carefully. "Mr. Richardson was very specific about his vision." I stood up. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a meeting with the media team." "Jordan." Nina's voice stopped me at the door. "What are you doing?" I turned back, smiling exactly the way she'd smiled at me the night my engagement ended. "Planning a gala, sister dear. Isn't that what you wanted?" Back in my office, Annika was monitoring social media. "The press release is getting traction, especially the parts about supporting victims of familial betrayal." "Any response from Nina's circles?" "They're nervous. 3 of her closest friends just unfollowed her." My phone lit up with another text, this time from Mason. "Nina's freaking out. She's been calling donors all morning." "Good," I typed back. "Keep me posted." Gabriel called next. "Your mother's trying to reach my board members. Shall I let her discover they're all close personal friends of mine?" "Let her spin her wheels," I said. "How's the video montage coming?" "Beautiful. We're calling it Phoenixes and Parasites, a family story." I laughed for the first time in weeks. "You're evil." "No, my dear. I'm just giving karma a helping hand." He paused. "Are you ready for tomorrow's board meeting? They'll all be there." I thought about the documents in my briefcase, the testimonies from former employees, the bank records that proved every lie. "They think they're getting a budget review," I said. "Instead, they're getting a preview of their worst nightmare." "Remember—" "I know," I cut in. "Smile, stay calm, and let the truth do the heavy lifting." After hanging up, I watched the sun set over the city. Somewhere out there, my family was scrambling to maintain control of their narrative. But they'd forgotten the most important lesson. The best stories are the ones you never see coming. The first crack in Nina's perfect facade appeared exactly 1 week before the gala. I was reviewing seating arrangements when my office door flew open, slamming against the wall. "What did you say to Mason?" Nina's voice shook with rage, her designer heels clicking across my floor like angry punctuation marks. I looked up calmly. "Hello, sister. Nice of you to visit." "He's threatening to go public. About everything." She slammed her hands on my desk. "What did you do?" "Maybe he developed a conscience," I suggested, returning to my seating chart. "Or maybe he just realized you're not worth the risk anymore." Risk? Her laugh was brittle. What risk? Nobody will believe him over me. I pulled up a news site on my monitor, turning it so she could see. The headline read, Social Media Influencer Questions, Recent Tech Mogul Breakup. Something doesn't add up. Funny thing about truth, I said softly. It has a way of blooming, in front of everyone. Nina's face went pale as she scrolled through the article. Comments underneath questioned the timeline, pointed out inconsistencies, suggested deeper investigations. This is you, she whispered. You're behind this. Like you were behind those fake screenshots? The pregnancy lie you told Derek? I watched her flinch. By the way, how's the Foundation's audit going? She stepped back. How did you know about the missing money? The doctor-donor reports? I stood up slowly. Or maybe you're wondering how I know about your offshore account, the one Mother helped you set up. You're bluffing. I opened my drawer and pulled out a thick folder. Want to bet your future on that? Her hands trembled as she reached for it, but I pulled it back. Not yet, I said. This is just a preview of what's coming at the Gala. You wouldn't dare. But her voice cracked. Mother would never. Mother can't stop it. Neither can you. I walked around my desk. But please, keep trying. It's entertaining watching you both scramble. Nina's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and I saw real fear flash across her face. Mason's being interviewed tomorrow, I continued. Something about clearing his conscience. I hear he has quite a story to tell. I'll deny everything, she hissed. It's my word against his. And the recordings? The bank statements? The witnesses? I smiled. Face it, Nina. Your house of cards is falling, and you don't have enough hands to catch all the pieces. She grabbed my arm. What do you want? Money? Public apology? Name it. I want nothing from you. I removed her hand. I just want you to watch, like I had to watch when you destroyed my life. I'm your sister. No. I turned back to my desk. You're just someone who shares my DNA and steals my dreams. Now get out of my office. I have a gala to plan. She moved to the door, then paused. You know what Mother always said about you? That you were too weak to survive in our world. Too soft. Mother was wrong about a lot of things. I met her eyes. But mostly about which daughter was the weak one. After she left, Annika slipped in. That was intense. You okay? Better than okay. I checked my phone. 3 missed calls from Mother, 5 from Mason. How's the online campaign going? Twitter's on fire. Someone leaked old texts showing Nina bragging about breaking up your engagement. Annika grinned. Totally anonymous source, of course. Of course. I opened my email to find a message from Gabriel. Mason's interview is scheduled for tomorrow morning. Nina tried to bribe the reporter. We have that recorded too. Your mother's called my office 6 times. Board members are asking questions about foundation finances. Everything's falling perfectly into place. See you at tomorrow's final planning meeting. Wear something fireproof. There's going to be a lot of burning bridges. Gee, I closed my laptop and walked to the window. Somewhere in the city, Nina was probably running to Mother, plotting their defense. But they were fighting yesterday's battle with outdated weapons. My phone buzzed with a text from Derek. We need to talk. About Nina. About everything. No, I typed back. We really don't. Another message from Mason. Nina's threatening to expose me. What should I do? I smiled as I replied. Tell the truth. That's what scares her most. The sun was setting over the city. painting the sky in shades of orange and red. Phoenix colors, I thought. Perfect for what was coming. 1 week until the gala. 1 week until every lie burned to ash. And from those ashes, only one of us would rise. The gala venue glittered like a crystal palace. I stood at the entrance, wearing a deep red gown that made me feel like living fire. Annika appeared beside me, tablet in hand. "Security's in position," she whispered. "Every exit covered, every server briefed, and the video system is locked down," I finished. "Only our team has access." The first guests were arriving. I watched them pick up their welcome packets, each containing carefully crafted hints about the evening's true purpose. Phrases like "rising from deception" and "truth unveiled" were artfully woven throughout the program. "Your mother and Nina just pulled up," Annika warned. I turned to see them emerging from their car, both in designer black. Mother's face was set in stone, while Nina's eyes darted nervously around the crowd. "Jordan!" Mother's greeting could have frozen hell. "I see you're making quite a statement with that dress." Red seemed appropriate, I smiled, for rising from ashes. Nina flinched. She'd seen Mason's interview yesterday, where he'd detailed every aspect of their scheme. The social media storm hadn't stopped since. "Mr. Richardson wants to speak with you both," I added sweetly. "Something about donation allocations?" Mother's perfectly lined lips tightened. "We'll find him ourselves." As they walked away, Annika showed me her tablet. "Look who just arrived." Derek stood awkwardly at the entrance, tugging at his bow tie. Our eyes met briefly before he looked away, guilt written across his face. "Should we seat him near Nina?" Annika asked with a wicked grin. "No need. He'll suffer enough when the video plays." The ballroom filled quickly. I noticed several journalists who'd covered my scandal now mingling with foundation donors. They all held the same program, all reading the same carefully chosen words. Gabriel appeared at my side, resplendent in a black tuxedo. "Ready?" "Everyone's here," I confirmed, "including 3 board members who've been asking about the missing money." "Excellent." He checked his watch. "The presentation begins in 20 minutes. How's our guest of honor?" I glanced at Nina, who was drinking champagne too quickly while avoiding Mason's attempts to catch her eye from across the room. "Unraveling," I said. "Mother's not much better." "Perfect." Gabriel squeezed my shoulder. "Remember what we practiced. When I introduce you—" "I know." I straightened my spine. "Grace under pressure. Let the evidence speak for itself." The lights dimmed slightly. Our signal. Gabriel moved toward the stage as conversations hushed. "Jordan!" Nina's voice carried across the marble floor. She hurried over, wobbling slightly. "We need to talk. Now. Actually, we need to listen." I nodded toward the stage where Gabriel was taking his position. "Watch carefully, sister dear. I learned this technique from you, how to destroy someone without leaving any fingerprints." "Please," she whispered, "whatever you're planning." "Ladies and gentlemen," Gabriel's voice boomed through the speakers, "welcome to the Phoenix Initiative's inaugural gala." Nina grabbed my arm. "I'll tell everyone what you did. How you're bitter about Derek. How you're trying to ruin me out of jealousy." I turned to her slowly, savoring the moment. "You mean like how you ruined me, with lies and fake evidence?" I removed her hand. "The difference is, I'm using the truth, and I have proof." "Good evening," Gabriel continued. "Tonight, we celebrate resilience, the power of truth over deception, and no one embodies these qualities more than our next speaker, the true visionary behind this evening's event. Please welcome Jordan. The spotlight found me as applause filled the room. Nina's face went white as I walked away from her, toward the stage. Mother tried to intercept me, but Gabriel's security team smoothly blocked her path. I took my place at the podium, looking out over the sea of faces. Journalists leaned forward, phones recording. Donors watched curiously. Board members sat straighter in their chairs. "Thank you all for coming," I began, my voice steady. "Tonight's theme is Rising from Betrayal, a subject I've become intimately familiar with." The first slide appeared on the massive screens, a simple quote, "The truth always outlasts whispers." I saw Nina backing toward the exit, but security had already closed the doors. "Let me tell you a story," I continued, watching Mother's face as she realized what was coming. "About a family foundation, 2 sisters, and what really happened to $500,000 in donor funds." The room went completely silent. In that perfect moment of anticipation, I caught Gabriel's proud smile, saw Annika's thumbs up from the control booth, and felt the weight of years of silence finally lifting from my shoulders. Time to let the truth bloom. "Before I begin," I said into the microphone, "I'd like to thank my sister Nina for teaching me the power of public revelations." Nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. She's always believed in sharing family stories. Tonight, I'm following her example. The first video clip played behind me. Security footage of Nina meeting Mason in hotel lobbies, passing envelopes, sharing kisses, dates clearly visible in each frame. Or, while I was planning my wedding, I continued, my sister was planning its destruction. But that's not the real story. The screen shifted to bank statements. Red highlights marked suspicious transfers. Over the past 5 years, nearly $500,000 in donor funds have vanished from the foundation's accounts. I paused as gasps filled the room. Would anyone like to guess where that money went? Enough. Mother stood up, her voice shaking. "This is ridiculous, is it?" Gabriel stepped forward. "Perhaps you'd like to explain these documents bearing your signature, authorizing transfers to offshore accounts?" The evidence appeared on screen, Mother's signature clear as day. Board members began whispering furiously. "Or shall we discuss the fake pregnancy story used to manipulate Derek?" I turned to my ex-fiancé, who looked like he might be sick. Nina was quite convincing, wasn't she? The tears, the tragic timing. More footage played. Nina bragging to Mason about her performance, laughing about how easily everyone believed her lies. "Jordan!" Nina called out, her voice cracking. "Stop this!" "Stop what? Telling the truth?" I met her eyes. That's rich, coming from someone who created fake evidence to destroy her own sister's engagement. The screens filled with Nina's text messages to tabloids, her payments to sources, her careful orchestration of my downfall. "The Phoenix Initiative stands for truth," I continued, as Nina bolted for the door, only to find it locked. "So, let's talk truth. About years of embezzlement, about systematic manipulation, about a family that preyed on their own." Mother swayed on her feet as financial records scrolled across the screens. Donor names, missing amounts, falsified reports, all meticulously documented. "Mrs. Hernandez?" A board member stood up. "Is this accurate?" Before she could respond, the video montage began. The piece Gabriel and I had worked on for weeks. It wove together years of evidence. Nina's confessions to Mason, Mother's cover-ups, the elaborate scheme to break up my engagement. "I trusted you." Derek's voice broke through the silence. He was staring at Nina. "You told me. You made me believe." "Oh, she's very good at making people believe things," I said softly. "Aren't you, sister?" Nina ran for the stage, mascara streaming down her face. "It was her idea. Mother told me to do it. She said we needed the money, that Jordan was ruining everything with her perfect life, and—" "Nina!" Mother's sharp voice cut through the air, but it was too late. The room erupted in chaos. Journalists were frantically taking notes. Donors demanded answers. Board members huddled together, phones out, already calling emergency meetings. "The Phoenix Initiative!" Gabriel's voice rose above the din. "We'll be launching a full investigation into the Foundation's practices. We've already contacted the relevant authorities." Mother collapsed into her chair as security approached her. Nina stood frozen on the steps to the stage, looking smaller by the second. "You've ruined us," she whispered. "No," I replied, my voice carrying through the speakers. "You did that yourselves. I just showed everyone the truth you tried to bury." The screens displayed one final image, a phoenix rising from flames, with text slowly appearing. "The Phoenix Initiative, supporting survivors of betrayal, exposing those who abuse trust, and proving that the greatest revenge is living well." Cameras flashed as Gabriel announced the initiative's first major action, a multi-million-dollar fund for victims of familial financial abuse and defamation, led by our new executive director. He smiled at me, who knows firsthand the importance of standing up to those who would silence the truth. I watched as Mother was escorted out, as Nina crumpled against a wall, as my former world shattered into glittering pieces. Annika appeared at my side. "Social media's exploding. Just Phoenix Rising is trending." "Send everything to the media contacts," I instructed. "Every document, every recording." "Already done." She hugged me quickly. "You did it, but—" I wasn't finished. I turned back to the microphone one last time. "To anyone who's ever been gaslit, betrayed, or silenced by their own family, this foundation is for you, because sometimes the family you're born into isn't the family you deserve." The applause was deafening. Through tears, I saw Gabriel beaming, saw journalists rushing to their laptops, saw years of lies crumbling under the weight of undeniable truth. They'd wanted me invisible. Instead, I'd made them unforgettable, for all the wrong reasons, and it felt like flying. The morning sun streamed through my childhood home's windows as I walked through its empty rooms one last time. Mother had fled to Europe after the charges were filed. Nina was staying with distant relatives. Her social media presence vanished overnight. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since the gala. I checked the latest headlines. Family Foundation, Scandal Rocks, Social Elite. Phoenix Initiative, launches with explosive expose. Sister's Revenge, serves justice, a modern fairy tale. A knock at the door interrupted my thoughts. Gabriel stood there, looking unusually casual in jeans and a sweater. "Ready to say goodbye?" he asked. "Almost." I ran my hand along the marble countertop where I'd spent countless hours planning events, while my family took the credit. "Just collecting memories. Speaking of memories..." He handed me a thick envelope. "The board voted unanimously this morning. The Foundation's assets will be transferred to the Phoenix Initiative, with you as primary executor." I smiled at the irony. Mother always said I'd never run the Foundation. "Your mother said a lot of things." He paused. Have you read Derek's email? Deleted it. I moved toward the study, where family photos still line the walls. Some apologies come too late. My phone buzzed again. Nina calling for the 100th time. I declined it as Annika walked in, carrying coffee. You won't believe who just showed up at the office, she said, handing me a cup. Mason, with a full confession and more evidence. Of course he did. I took down a photo of Nina and me as children, back when I thought her smiles were real. The rats always abandon a sinking ship. The press wants interviews, Annika continued. Everyone wants to hear your story. They already have. I placed the photo face down. The truth is enough. Jordan. Gabriel's voice was gentle. There's something else you should see. He pulled up a video on his phone, a support group meeting, women sharing stories of family betrayal, inspired by what happened at the gala. This is happening all over the country, he said. You've given people courage to speak up. I watched their faces, saw my own pain reflected back. How many groups? 12 so far. More forming every day. He smiled. Ready to help lead them. The doorbell rang. Through the window, I saw reporters gathering outside. They'd been tracking me since the gala, hungry for more details about the scandal that had captivated the city. Ms. Hernandez, they called out. Can we get a statement? I turned to Gabriel and Annika. Actually, yes, they can. Walking onto the front steps, I faced the cameras with the same calm I'd learned from years of hiding my truth. My family taught me that image is everything, I began. They were wrong. Truth is everything, and sometimes truth comes with a price. Questions erupted, but I held up my hand. To anyone watching who's been silenced by their family, who's carried secrets that weren't theirs to bear, you're not alone. The Phoenix Initiative isn't just a foundation, it's a promise that your story matters. What about your sister? Someone shouted. Your mother? They made their choices. I straightened my shoulders. Now they can live with the consequences. Back inside, I picked up the box containing my last belongings, photos of real friends, documents that had saved me, the key to my first office, the one I'd earned without my family's help. The moving truck's ready, Annika said. New office is all set up. Perfect. I took one last look around. Gabriel, would you like a slightly used mansion? I hear it's great for transforming lives. He grinned. The Phoenix Initiative's first recovery center? I like it. We walked out together, leaving behind the echoes of lies and the weight of false obligations. My phone buzzed with a text from Mother. You'll regret this. Family is forever. I typed back, no, truth is forever. Goodbye, Mother. Blocking her number felt like breaking the final chain. Outside, the morning had bloomed into a perfect day. Cameras flashed as I loaded my box into the car, but they didn't bother me anymore. Let them see. Let them all see. Ready? Gabriel asked from the driver's seat. I looked at the house where I'd learned to swallow pain and smile through betrayal, where I'd finally learned to fight back. You know what Mother used to say about phoenixes? I said as we pulled away. That they're just pretty birds that burn. And what do you say? Annika asked from the back seat. I watched my old life disappear in the rearview mirror, feeling lighter with every mile. That sometimes you have to burn to become who you were meant to be. The truth had set me free, and freedom, I discovered, felt exactly like flying,